Hey everybody, Pastor Vern for November 18th, 2020. It's a Wednesday. We're back at doing some of our life and Bible times, just kind of how the daily routine or the things that we're familiar with them in order to get a little better idea of what maybe Jesus would have encountered as he traveled from place to place. There are certain things that are kind of universal. If you look around the homes in our area, there would be some things that are universal. Most homes have kitchen, living room, bedrooms. We have a lot of wood framed structures in this area. We have some that are made of other materials, but basically we have a design that is kind of basic to the function of the house and so on. And yesterday we talked about the roof in the Hebrew tradition, that it was an important part of the home, that they made it flat so they could use it for several different purposes, besides just shedding the water when it rained. And so we're going to kind of continue on with that theme a little bit. One of the things that we see, especially in Deuteronomy in the Old Testament, is there's a lot of text in there, especially when you get into the chapters in the like 20s, 21 to 28, something, or 27, something like that. They had a lot of rules about property, and property was important to the Hebrew people. Remember, they had been an exiled people without a land for a long time. It seems like every time they got up and running pretty good, they would go through a period where they get conquered and they would be either occupied or their land would be taken away. And so all this was the private property aspect of this was really important to the Hebrew people, and that kind of plays out on the boundary stone thing. There's some things in Deuteronomy that tells us that to move a boundary stone was a huge no-no. It was one of those things that was considered theft because you were trying to increase your acreage by taking away somebody else's. And it's also meant it was an issue of disrespect for the family that owned that property, that you would move their boundary stones and take some of their property. So when we see that type of emphasis on that, we also have an interesting thing. Deuteronomy, a lot of that was about the well-being and the safety of the Hebrew people. A lot of these rules were what Moses interpreted coming from God to make his people strong and prosper and safe. So going back to the roof thing that we talked about yesterday, within your property, your boundary stones that they used, it was required to have a parapets on your roof. Okay, what's parapets? That's not a word that we use every day. It's a little bit like a guardrail or a railing that we would have on a balcony or a upper deck or something like that. It was a requirement to have that on there. It was part of Hebrew law. Every homeowner had to have that in the upper stories of their house, so that he wouldn't be blamed if somebody fell off the roof. Um, you know, I put this boundary out here. I've got whatever I have for a guardrail, so to speak, or a railing. And then it's your responsibility then if you fall off the roof, because I've clearly marked this area and I put up something as a boundary. So take heed to that. I guess it was kind of the early Hebrews' attempt at consumer protection and liability laws. Because we see in Deuteronomy there's a lot of information about being about liability and what the remedies were if you crossed somebody's or if you did something that someone else took exception to, and the law said that you weren't supposed to do it, and some of those punishments were really harsh. So in this case, we're looking at a safety issue up on that roof as you're visiting with your neighbors, or you're drying your fruit, or you're keeping an eye on your kids playing in the street, whatever it might be, catching a cool breeze in maybe the early evening. All right, so we got a little protection for our roof scenario. All right, Well, take good care of yourselves, watch out for others the best you can in our current situation, and stay safe. We'll talk to you later. Bye.